Hello, this is Jay with newtopuertorico.com, and I am going to talk today about gluten-free living in Puerto Rico. Now, why would I care? Well, if you have celiac disease, like some in my family, very close family, it is very important for you to know the awareness that there is here about celiac disease. And let me tell you that there is none, okay? The awareness for celiac disease here is literally zero. We were the first family that was diagnosed with celiac disease by my pediatrician, or actually that they did the test even for celiac disease, a blood test, in the however many years of experience that she's had. I mean, she's an older woman now, and we were the first family that was tested for celiac disease by her. And the GI doctor that then we were referred to, we were the first family here in Puerto Rico that he tested for celiac disease for the endoscopy. The second in his career, when he practiced in Yale, actually. So the awareness here is very minimal, is literally zero. I'm talking that you can go to a hospital and you can ask if something is gluten-free and they won't know. They will literally not know. Apologize for that, for the airplane. So, not that doctors won't know, but like we've had nurses, assistants, and other people that, take your information and they don't really know what that is. So, how can you live if you have celiac disease here? Well, first of all, it's going to be very expensive. Our food budget had to almost triple after the diagnosis. And if you're worried about cross-contamination and everything, I suggest that you don't eat out at all. Although there may be one or two restaurants that I'm okay eating at. But the vast majority of them, even when they have gluten-free menu, it is not gluten-free. They may use the same fryers, they may use the same cutting boards, toasters, and all those things. Like, I went to a pizza place and they told me that it was gluten-free, but then all the flour and everything from all the other pizzas was scattered all over, and they put my gluten-free bread pizza crust on the same board with all the other flour and everything, and it was obviously contaminated. But no, this is gluten-free. One place told me that they make gluten-free pizza with regular flour. They just don't add the gluten. What does that even mean? Okay, so the awareness of gluten-free celiac disease, due to celiac disease, is zero. And a lot of people here that want to eat gluten-free eat because they think it's healthy. It's kind of like the new fad diet, which doesn't help us celiacs, which actually have to eat gluten-free and need this to be taken seriously. So, you're going to do a lot of grocery shopping. You're going to cook at home a lot. Some grocery stores that we go shopping at would be Econo. Econo's good. They have pretty good items. It's more expensive than the regular non-gluten-free items. Costco is great. We shop at Costco a lot. We rarely eat out. We have one or two restaurants that we go out, and we go out maybe once every 6 months or so. We can't afford it really, but if we could, those are the only places that we would go more regularly anyway. So it does cause a problem for if you want to go out on a day trip or something, because there are very few places that you would feel comfortable eating. You would have to take all your food and snacks with you for the day. Hotels and bed and breakfast and that sort of thing would be a big no. We can't do that. That is if you're worried about cross-contamination and that sort of thing. So it is an issue, and it is hard to live here in a gluten-free diet. Most of the local food is gluten-free by itself. very relatively natural. You know, we don't have burgers. You know, I mean, we have burgers, but that's not the local cuisine. Local cuisine is mainly rice, beans, and things made out with plantains and other things. So it generally doesn't involve any sort of flour or anything. Now, if you don't want anything fried, you can say a la plancha, or which means it was really a way of saying grilled. So you have grilled chicken or meats or whatever, as opposed to fried. You have to make sure that they don't put any sort of seasoning that may have gluten. So generally, the food itself, the local cuisine, doesn't really have a lot of gluten. It's gluten-free by default in most cases, not all. But it's the ingredients that may have gluten. You know, the tomato sauce that has a thickener, or the mixed seasonings that may have gluten, or is processed in a facility that is not gluten-free. So it may be contaminated with gluten that way. So if you're worried about cross-contaminations, if you're worried about not having any gluten at all, which that's us, we don't want to have any contamination or anything, it will be very hard. But there are restaurants there that they claim that they're gluten-free and that sort of thing, and they take steps or measures to avoid all those things. I don't particularly believe them. I went to the kitchen one time on one high-end restaurant, and I saw a lot of things that I didn't feel comfortable with, but that is really up to you, basically. So there is in the restaurant industry, there are more and more places popping up with gluten-free menu items, but basically what you're going to find is that no gluten in ingredients, not really gluten-free. You're gonna find a few bakeries and things that say that they have gluten-free cookies or gluten-free cupcakes, and then they make them right then and there with all the gluten-containing cookies and cupcakes using the exact same equipment and that sort of thing. So I suggest that you get really good at baking and cooking and all that stuff, because if you have celiac disease and you don't feel comfortable with eating cross-contaminated foods, it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be that easy, but it is doable. I don't think it's that bad, but we do cook at home most of the time, and it is an issue at hospitals. That is one thing that I don't know if some things are gluten-free or not, the Jell-O or something, you know. Generally it is, but I don't know if it is, and they can't tell me. The cafeteria or the food that they may serve if you're at the hospital, you don't know if it's gluten-free. It may not have any gluten in the ingredients because they generally serve local food, but you don't really know. So there it is. If you have any questions about living gluten-free in Puerto Rico, and any particular situations that you may be in and concerned about, send me a message, find me on Facebook and all that stuff, and I'll be happy to help you with that. All right, thank you. Bye.